She wanted an open relationship. I agreed, it wrecked her life. I have been with my girlfriend for 5 years, and not long ago, we decided to try an open relationship. We had started dating in high school but split up when I went off to college. At the time, I thought she was no longer interested in me, but later she told me she ended it so I could experience life on my own while away. While I was out meeting people and trying to figure things out, she was back home living under her mother's strict rules. Her mom had found out she had a boyfriend and had lost her virginity, and after that, she locked everything down. No hanging out, no going anywhere. Even when she started college, she was still tied down to her mom's control. Meanwhile, I was living a typical college life, trying things, dating, doing what felt normal, even though a part of me still missed her. Years later, we got back together and moved in around 2016. Since then, things were stable for a while, but about a year ago, she started talking about wanting new experiences. I was not thrilled, but I wanted to be supportive. The first time we thought about opening the relationship, she got interested in some guy, but he ended up being disappointing, so nothing happened. A few weeks ago, she met someone else through work, and this time, she was more serious about it. They have been talking a lot, though nothing physical has happened yet. At the same time, I have been trying to meet people online, mostly just to match the energy, but deep down, I keep realizing I am not interested in anyone else. I only want to be with her. It stings when we barely see each other all week because of my job, and then when the weekend comes, she spends time with this other guy. I feel like I am getting left behind in this whole thing. I try to talk to her about how it is affecting me, and every time, she says she is willing to shut it all down, but then adds that she has this urge she needs to explore or else she will regret it forever. It is confusing because I do not know what to do with these feelings. I have started seeing a therapist, hoping that will help me sort things out, because honestly, I feel like I am losing myself in all of this. At the start of this year, we made things officially open, and since then, things have shifted in a way I did not expect. I was always someone who leaned more toward monogamy, so it was tough when she started getting attention so quickly. She had dates lined up fast, and I struggled to connect with anyone. Things got better after I started therapy. I learned how to talk about my emotions without shutting down, and our connection improved because of it. Then I met someone who became a friend and a romantic partner. It made me realize I am not built for casual hookups. I need a bond, something real. I also realized I was not chasing experience the way my girlfriend was, probably because I had already lived a freer life growing up. That is when things started to shift. She began to get jealous of this new connection I had. She would blow up my phone while I was with the other woman or suddenly become affectionate just as I was leaving. It felt like she could not stand seeing me get what she had been asking for. That is when I started noticing a bigger change. She had always been steady, handled money well, showed up to work, went back to college. But something started slipping around the time we opened up our relationship. First it was blowing her paycheck on piercings and tattoos. I did not mind much, I support self-expression, but then she started pushing back at her job, coming in late or leaving without notice. Then she just stopped attending class altogether. When midterms and finals came around, she had no clue they were even happening. Around the same time I started bonding with this new partner, my girlfriend took a 2-month leave from work. She said it was for her mental health, but refused to get any help when I suggested therapy. She focused on one guy and spent days at a time with him. Normally, that would have been a deal breaker, but I work 12-hour rotating shifts now, so I figured maybe she just did not want to be home alone. But then she started ordering takeout all the time, despite not working and having no car or license. I already keep the fridge stocked and pay for everything, so it just started to feel like she was slipping away from everything, her goals, her focus, her maturity. I would try to bring it up, calmly, but every time I mentioned how I was feeling, she would either shut down or get defensive. When I pointed out how she spends all day in bed while I am at work, or how the money keeps disappearing, she would just get angry or act like I was imagining things. Every time I tried to have a real talk about where our relationship was going, she would brush it off and tell me I was reading too much into it. But the truth is, something has changed, and I am stuck trying to hold everything together while she spirals. Eventually, she quit her job without lining up another one, and that was the breaking point for me. I started pulling away, not just emotionally but physically too. It felt like I was stuck carrying all the weight, and my needs were being ignored. She picked up on it right away and started acting like I did not find her attractive anymore. She got upset that I stopped making the first move in the bedroom and said everything felt off between us. I tried explaining how I felt, why I was struggling to be close to her in that way, but all she kept saying was that I was always pointing out what was wrong with her. It reached a point where there was no more physical connection at all. We were not even cuddling. We still talk, but most of those talks are about the guy she is seeing. I barely see her anymore. I still make an effort to be intimate, but she always has a reason not to. She is tired, she is on her period, or something else. When she does try to be close, it always feels like it is forced or at the worst possible time. It has been almost 2 months without anything between us. I have been thinking about bringing it up again, but every time we have conversations like that, she ends up frustrated and says things like maybe I am never happy with her or maybe we should just break up. Then not long after that, she will say she sees me as the man she wants to marry, that I am the only person she pictures herself with. It leaves me feeling confused and torn. Lately, I have been thinking that what I actually need is stability and maturity, and that is something I have found in the new woman I was seeing. She is balanced, fun but responsible, and she treats everything with fairness. Meanwhile, my girlfriend seems to want a life that is carefree and full of impulse. The guy she is with now is just that he has no direction, skips work, and is always available. It is like he fits exactly what she is chasing. I do not want to walk away from the woman I fell for, because I still remember who she used to be, but I am starting to feel like that version of her is gone. We talked about maybe doing couples therapy when our money situation gets better, but I do not think she is actually interested. She has not made any effort toward it. Right now, I am stuck in limbo, not knowing whether to hold on or let go. That same day, everything came to a head. She got a call from her mother, the same woman who made her childhood so difficult. Their relationship has always been distant, barely polite. Her mom told her that her brother was having a mental health crisis because of years of isolation, and that conversation apparently made her reflect on how she had raised her kids. Her mom apologized, and it opened something in my girlfriend. She let out a lot of old feelings and told her mom she was going to start therapy because she was realizing she was acting like the very person who hurt her. She said she did not want to carry on that kind of behavior. She seemed sincere, but she was very emotional, and I was not sure if she meant it. She had just started a new job that week, and during her break, she applied for a second job. She told me she realized that having too much free time had been a bad thing for her and that she needed to work more to get her independence back, financially and emotionally. I wanted to be hopeful, but I also read through the comments people left, and they brought up things I had not considered. I realized this might be more about figuring out what I want and what I am willing to tolerate. Jumping from one relationship into another was not the answer either. I needed to figure out my own boundaries and stop ignoring what I needed from a relationship. Both people have to show up and put in the work. It cannot be one-sided. I knew I had a lot to think about, and I promised myself that if anything major happened, I would give an update. A few weeks later, I decided nothing was changing. I talked to some close friends about what I had been going through, and every single one of them said it was time to let it go. I read all the advice people had given, and I finally made the call. I broke up with her. I explained why, told her all the things that had been building up and what needed to change if there was ever going to be any hope of getting back together. She cried. We talked on the phone, because she was never around when I was home. She said she understood and that she was going to work on herself. The lease was almost up, and I had already found a place to move into with a friend. She thought she was moving in with me. I considered it, but then she started going off about my friends, saying she wanted to hurt them for telling me to leave her. That was it for me. I told her she could not move in with me. She moved in with the other guy. She kept in touch, but never made any effort to change. She would complain about how terrible he was and would sometimes offer to hook up with me. The way he treated her mirrored exactly how she had treated me. When I pointed it out, she gave a weak apology. I went back to therapy. My money situation improved fast. I started seeing the woman I had connected with before, and honestly, this has been the easiest, calmest relationship of my life. We talk the same way, we show love the same way, and it does not feel like work. It felt strange at first because I had spent so many years in chaos, not just with my ex but in other relationships too. This felt like I finally had someone who was on my team, not someone I had to drag or fix. I started doing things for myself again, like going back to the gym and picking up hobbies I had forgotten about. I realized how much of myself I had lost in that old relationship. I had been holding on for years, thinking it would get better. But now I am focused on me, and I am not looking back.